Hello, everyone. Good afternoon to you all. I'm just going to wait a couple seconds here for everyone else to kind of trickle in. Okay. Well, thanks everybody for joining us for our first session of the April Challenger. Before we get started today, I am going to go over a couple of housekeeping items just so that everybody knows how to use the platform and also what to expect for the class. So for those who don't know who I am, my name is Shelly, and I'm a neurophysiotherapist here with the Society. And today we are doing our first ever April Challenger, which is, I guess as the name implies, is meant to be challenging in terms of things like balance, direction changes, and as well as your exercise stamina. So don't be scared off. It should be a really fun class. Given that it is the April Challenger, it will be primarily a standing class, but I do have a chair in the corner just in case anybody wants to have seated modifications. I will show you the seated versions as well, but we are primarily going to be doing this class in standing. So if you are someone who is hoping for fully seated class, this is probably not the right level for you. But with that said, by all means, you can join in seated if you like. But if you can't stand, even if you have to hold on to a chair or a table, that's absolutely fine, because we do want to be able to practice some of these standing weight shifting type activities in order to help improve things like balance and your general fitness level. Hopefully, for those who have used this platform before, you should have a chat box open. I can see that there are some people who are already commenting on the chat box, so great. If you don't see the chat box, it might be in a little collapsed icon on your screen. It just looks like a little blue button. If you click on it, it should open up the chat box on your right-hand side. And the chat box is how you're going to communicate with me today. So I can't hear any of you. So if you want to talk to me or ask me a question, you can do so on the chat box. Of course, during the class, I'm going to be moving with you, so I won't be able to see the messages on the chat box, but I will do my best to answer the questions at the end of the class. If you do have any technical difficulties, you can type your issues on the chat box, and I have my wonderful colleague Alana, who is as an admin for us today, so she will be able to read those questions and do her best to answer them. But I would like to remind everybody to make sure you have your speakers turned up, so that way you can make sure I'm not on mute. If you can't hear me, you might want to tap on the screen in order for the audio to open up. Or you can try refreshing your screen as well, which sometimes helps with those little bug fixes there. Okay, so talking about the class, I know that in the advertisement on our website, we've mentioned two equipment that you might need for the class. The first one is a small pillow or a little cushion, if you will. So nothing too big, a little size, something that you can hold in your hand, and as well as two tea towels or fabrics or scarves, something lightweight fabric that you can use. We won't be using them today because today's our first class, but it's just for you guys to be aware for next class and the future classes to have those next to you for the ready in case we use them. We won't be using them every class, but it's good to have just in case. And the classes will be recorded, so that way if you wanted to revisit them at any point, you can do so on our YouTube channel. If you're not sure where that is, you can always send us an email, which is pinned at the very top of the chat box, info@parkinson.bc.ca. You can always drop us an email and then we will show you where the recordings are. Okay, I see a question here. I am awaiting knee surgery. Am I a good candidate for the class? Great question. Okay, depends on what knee surgery you're getting, but I guess in general, I assume it's probably a knee replacement. That seems to be quite common. So if you are waiting for knee surgery or any other kind of surgery, yes, you can absolutely do the class. Just be a little bit careful if we're doing any kind of stomping or any kind of deep lunges or squats. You might not want to go as deep. Just listen to your body. You can still do the class, but maybe not move into as big of those kind of knee range of movements if it's hurting your knee. But absolutely, yes, you can participate in the class. Okay, well, let's get started. I'm just going to pull up my timer here so I can see and keep track of the time as we go through the class today. Hopefully you can all hear me and see me. I know my living room is a little bit on the narrow side, so if anything gets cut off, let me know, but hopefully you can see everything okay. Oh, I see another comment here. Should I be able to see other participants in this workshop? No. So this platform is Big Marker, which means that you can see me, but you can't see anybody else in the class. And you also can't hear anybody else in the class. So that way there's no echo or anything. So don't worry if you can't see any other participants, very normal. You should just be able to see me and hear me okay, and be able to use the chat box. Okay, so let's have a stand up. We're gonna start by marching on the spot. If you are sitting, exactly the same thing, march on the spot, swinging those arms. Now, as we're marching on the spot, it's really important here for us to keep our chest up. So I don't want to see anybody doing this, right? We want to keep ourselves nice and tall as we're doing our marching on the spot. And you're trying to lift those knees as high as you can, swing those arms, not just forward, but also backwards. So if I go sideways, you can see my arms are not just doing this, but I'm swinging them back as well. So you want equal swing forward and back. Lifting those knees nice and high, getting those legs going, getting those arms going. Now, if at any point in the class you feel like I'm moving a little bit too fast for you, that's okay, don't worry. Feel free to slow it down. You don't have to do the same speed I'm doing, although I would like to challenge you guys to try to speed up the movements if you can. So I don't want you to match my speed, but I also don't want you to go so slow that you're not really getting your heart rate up and not getting much of a workout. So you kind of have to listen to your body and decide what works for you. Okay, we're gonna keep the marching pattern going. This time, we're going to step out, out, in. So exactly the same marching pattern, we're just stepping out and in. Still lifting those knees nice and high, swinging those arms. I think I see another comment pop up, but I can't quite see it because you're a bit far away, but I will get to it when we're done our warm-up. Keep it going. Again, if you're in the chair, same thing. You're going to keep doing the marching. So keep it going. You're going out, out, in. If you are doing this in the chair, but again, I'm going to challenge you to try to stand up for these exercises, even if it means you're holding on to something. Good, keep it going. Making sure your outs and ins are very distinctively different. We don't want to see this. We want to make sure it's actually going out and actually going in. Keep those arms swinging. Well done. Let's do 4. 3. Knees nice and high. 2. 1. Arms nice and wide. Keep the marching pattern going with those arms out nice and wide. Reach those fingers. We're going to bring our knee up to our hand. So knee to the opposite hand. Notice here how I'm saying knee to hand, not hand to knee. Mostly because I don't want anybody to be doing this, right? You want to lift that knee up nice and high to try to reach your hand and then go on to the other side. Try to hold your balance for just a split second before you move on to the other side. Imagine that you're balancing a book on top of your head. So you're trying to stand as tall as possible. Keeping your spine nice and long. Bring that knee to meet your hand. Well done. Good. A couple more here. Good. We're now going to bring our knee to forearm. So same arm, so the opposite arm to leg, but you're just bring your knee up to the forearm instead of the hand, which means you got to twist your body a little bit further in order for that knee to reach the forearm. So same as before, balancing for just a split second before moving on to the other side. Again, if this is too fast, don't worry, slow it down. As long as we keep moving, making sure we're not taking ourselves too seriously here. We want to just have some fun. Good, keep it going. Nice long spine, twisting that body in order for that knee to meet the forearm. Couple more. Good. On the next one, we're going to go knee to elbow this time. So you're still doing opposite arm to the knee, or opposite knee to the arm. Twisting your body a little bit more in order to get that knee to meet your elbow. If you can't quite touch your elbow, don't worry, that's okay. Keep twisting. Keep trying to get that knee as close to that elbow as possible. Noticing here that I'm weight shifting as I'm stepping on each of those legs. Well done, everybody. Still nice and tall. Still got that imaginary book balancing on your head. Let's do 4 more. 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. We're going to tap those heels forward this time. Nice and light, tapping the heel forward. We're not stepping on the leg, but we're just tapping forward, imagining there's eggshells on the floor. So you got to be nice and light with those heel taps forward. And now, as we're tapping forward, we're going to push the arms forward like so. Opening the palm, opening those fingers. As we're tapping that leg forward, we're pushing the arms forward, spreading that hand. Good. So remember, if you need to hold on to something because you feel like your balance is not so good today, that's okay. You can hold on to something, but still keep trying to move along. If you are sitting, exactly the same thing, tapping that heel forward, pushing the arms forward, spreading those fingers nice and wide. Good, let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This time we're tapping those toes out to the side. So you're now going out to the side rather than forward, tapping those toes out to the side, thinking about that weight shift, really feeling your feet on the floor and feeling your body going from side to side as you're tapping out to the side. Thinking about those eggshells underneath the foot that's going out. So you're not stepping, we're not stepping on the leg, but we're tapping, keeping our weight relatively in the middle. Bring your hands up into fists, into your chest, elbows up nice and high. We're going to spread those arms and open those fingers to the side as we tap those toes. So you're going open and close, open and close. So remember, you don't need to do the same speed I'm doing, but I do want you to try to reach those arms out as far as you can and reach that leg out as far as you can. Remember, we're warming up our body, so we do want to keep the movement going. Good, well done. Nice and tall. Let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This time we're going to tap behind us like this. Tap your toes behind you. So if I go sideways, you can see I'm tapping those toes behind me, but I'm not leaning forward like this. I'm keeping myself up nice and tall, and I'm just tapping the toes back like so. Tapping the toes back. And as we do that, we're going to swing those arms, squeeze the shoulder blades together. With each tap, we're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together. So from the side, bring those arms back, reaching those arms back with every tap, squeezing the shoulder blades together, trying to stretch the chest. Remember, if this is too fast, don't worry, slow it down as long as you're doing the same movement here. Of course, if you're sitting, you're not going to be able to tap your leg back because you are sitting. But what you can do is still do the arms, squeezing those shoulder blades together. And meanwhile, see if you can kick that leg forward. So if you're sitting, you're trying to kick that leg forward as you swing those arms back. Let's do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. We're going to open those legs nice and wide. We're going to bend our elbows down towards our knees like this. We're squatting down, and then we're standing up, reaching on the corner, squatting down, reaching on a corner. So when you're doing your squats, I want you to bend those knees and stick your bottom back, almost like you're about to sit in a chair. So from the side, it kind of looks like you're about to sit in a chair as you're squatting back. So I'm not doing this and falling forward, but you're squatting down, stick the bottom back, almost like you're about to sit in a chair. And really think about reaching. So you can see as I'm reaching, I'm weight shifting to one side and the other foot is sort of coming off the floor just a little bit in order to help me reach. And you should feel a nice stretch on the side of your body as you're doing this exercise. Well done, everyone. Try to keep those palms open if you can. Reaching across the body, making sure we're really seeing that level change. You're going from down below to up high on a corner. Let's do 6 more. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and shake it out. Okay, hopefully you're a bit warm. I'm just coming forward because I can see someone's writing a comment here. Okay, no worries. Yeah, if you're not feeling too good today, no worries. Feel free to do as much as you can. Okay, so our exercise today, we're going to do 5 exercises. We're going to do them 2 minutes each and run through them twice. So technically you're doing 10 rounds and then that's it. So hopefully not too hard. We're going to start with our first one. Let me show you what it is. You're going to stand with your feet a little bit wider than hip width apart. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to softly bend our knees, just a little bit, not a lot. We're going to pivot to the side like so. So you can see as I pivot, my toes, let me do that again. So when I pivot, you can see my toes are pointing the direction my body is going. And then I'm pivoting back. So you can see my toes are pointing the direction where I'm facing. Same on the other side. Pivot, toes are pointing to the side, and pivot. So you almost want to imagine you got nails going through the front of your foot. A bit graphic. You're imagining those nails going through the front of your foot, and the balls of your feet are staying on the spot, and you're pivoting to the side like this. Okay, so you're pivoting to the side and back. Now, arms and fists down by your waist like so, with the palms facing up. You're going to pivot to the side and you're going to push the opposite arm to leg forward. So in other words, the front arm, the arm that's facing your computer screen is the one that you're pushing forward, spreading that palm nice and wide, and then you're going to pull the arm back in as you turn back to the middle. Same with the other side. You're pivoting to the side, pushing the front arm forward like so, and then you're pulling it back in. So emphasize here on the sharpness of the turn, holding it without moving for a few seconds, and then you're going to turn back, sharp, hold. Other side, sharp, hold, turning back, sharp, hold. So I don't want to see anybody doing this kind of transition, right? We want it to be very sharp and sharp with every turn. So you're working on the pivot there. If you can't go all the way to the side, that's okay. Do your best, try your best. If you need to hold on, that's okay as well. Okay, we're gonna hold our tummy muscles nice and tight, stay balanced during this exercise. Are we ready? 2 minutes, you can do it. Here we go, 3, 2, 1, and go. So remember, with each pose, you can hold it for a second or two before moving again. You want to turn as sharply as you can. Really spread that hand out as you're pushing forward. And then pull that arm in as forcefully as you can as you pivot back on the spot. Aiming for that sharp, crisp movement. Well done, everybody. You're 30 seconds in. So we're not going for 100 million repetitions of this, because you want to pause after doing each pose, just to give yourself some time to regather that energy and strength to put into the next movement that's going to be equally as sharp. You got 1 minute left. Keep thinking about that pivot on the spot. You're aiming to get the toes to point in the direction that your body is facing. 50 seconds. Well done, everyone. Hopefully you're all still with me. Good, keep it going. You got 30 seconds left. Keep turning to the side, getting those toes to pivot with you. 20 seconds. You got last 15. Nice energy through the hands as well, so we're not just concentrating on the pivot. Nice push-pull motion with the arms. Last 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, next exercise, we're going to get the legs nice and wide, even wider than what you were doing just a moment ago. This is our windmill exercise, so this is what it looks like. Both arms are going to go straight, so elbows nice and straight, reaching the fingertips down toward one of your ankles. Doesn't matter which one, we'll do both, but reach down towards one side. Then from here, you're going to windmill those arms up and across, almost like you're drawing a rainbow. You're painting a rainbow with your fingertips. And as you're doing this movement, you'll notice here that I'm pivoting, I'm shifting my weight. So you can see I'm shifting my weight from one leg to the other, and in the middle, my heels kind of almost come off the floor because I'm reaching so far up. Let me move back a little bit more. Reaching and across. So that's the movement here. You're pivoting on those legs, reaching across as much as you can. If you're sitting, same thing, legs nice and wide. You're still reaching across, leaning from side to side. Okay, let's try. 2 minutes. Are we ready? Legs nice and wide. If our legs are too narrow, we're not really going to get a weight shift. If your legs are wide, then it makes you have to transfer your weight from one side to the other. Okay, let's get ready. 3, 2, 1, and go. Reaching up. Try to go as slow as you can in the middle here. Really practice that shifting of your weight, balancing in the middle there. Reaching your fingers up as high as they'll go. So think about that rainbow you're painting to be as wide as possible and as tall as possible. Shifting your weight through those legs. Good, well done. If you can't move quite as big as what I'm doing here, that's okay. Don't worry. Just go as big as you feel you are able to today. We're going to keep pushing through our limits of comfort, and we're really going to reach as far as we can, transferring our weight as far as we can, opening those legs as far as we can. 1 minute left. Doing really well, everyone. Keep going. Reach, reach, reach. See if you can go a little bit further each time. Stand up a little bit taller each time. Feeling your feet on the floor, transferring your weight from side to side. Well done, everybody. You've got about 30 seconds left. You're almost there. Almost there. You can do it. Keep going. Keep reaching. 20 seconds. Make sure that your legs are not coming in. You want to keep them out nice and wide. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, Our next one, we're going to practice some backward lunges. This one's probably pretty tricky for a lot of people, but don't worry. We'll give you some variations here. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see me. Two options. You can either step backwards like this, other leg step backwards, or if you want to do the full version, you're going to step and lunge. So you're imagining you're about to kneel on the floor, except you're not putting your knee on the floor. So you're aiming to step back far enough that it's almost like you're about to kneel on the floor, and the back knee is maybe a couple inches off the ground, chest up nice and tall. So backwards lunges, or if that's too hard or you've got knee injuries and you don't want to go that far, that's okay. Step back as far as you can and bend those knees slightly. Okay, so you can either step or lunge. Now, as you're doing that, your arms are going to be clasped together and you're going to draw a big figure of 8 or at the infinity sign as you step back. So it looks like this. Arms up in front, lunge, figure of 8, stand back up. Other side, lunge, figure of 8, get back up. Lunge, figure of 8, and back up. Or, let me go from the side. If you don't want to lunge, you can step, big figure of 8, back together. Step, big figure of 8, and back together. So you're aiming to keep your balance as you're drawing the figure of 8, because you can see here that I'm twisting my body to draw this figure of 8. So you're trying to keep your balance. Okay, I'm going to go maybe from an angle so that way you can see me. If you're sitting, you can't lunge back. So you're going to have to stick that leg out in front of you, keep the thigh off the chair, and draw a figure of 8 and stay balanced. So you don't want to fall off your chair. Keep that leg up nice and high, figure of 8, same thing. Okay, are we ready? We're going to try 2 minutes. So remember, you can step or lunge, up to you. Arms out in front, ready? 3, 2, 1, and go. Big figure of 8, as big as you can. The bigger you go, the more of a challenge it is for your balance. If you can, try to keep your chest up. Imagine your body is like an elevator. You can only go up and down, not forward and backwards. So you got to keep your chest up. Keep that back up nice and tall. Good, well done. Remember, you don't need to lunge. If you can't lunge, that's okay. Stepping back is fine as well. But if you are doing the stepping back version, I would like to challenge you to step back further than you are comfortable with. But of course, still being safe. I don't want anyone falling over. So if you're a bit nervous about your balance, hold on to something or have something nearby you to hold on to, just in case. But I want to challenge you to step back as far as you can and then a little more. Well done. You've got about 50 seconds left. If you are lunging, try to get that back knee toward the floor, but not actually on the floor. I'm being very demanding today. Whew, hopefully you're all still with me. You've got 30 seconds. Almost there. You can do it. 25 seconds. Keep going. You can do it. You can do it. Breathing through this. Well done. 15 seconds. 10 seconds left. You're almost there. You've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, well done. 2 more exercises, and then we run through everything again, and that's it. It's gone by really quick. Okay, our next one is going to be our power squats. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring our feet about hip width apart, and all you're going to do here is you're going to do a squat, so sending your bottom back and then standing up. So from the side, you're squatting, stick your bottom back like you're about to sit in a chair and stand back up. And as you stand back up, squeeze your bum cheeks together as you stand back up. Okay, now arms. The arms are gonna start in fists into your chest like this. Let me come forward like this, in fists. Elbows up nice and high, and then every time you squat, you're going to open those arms. Notice my fingers and hands here. So you're opening them as wide as you can, and then you're gonna pull them back into fists. So I don't wanna see anybody do this, right? Not that kind of class. You're gonna try to open those arms as forcefully as you can, and then you're gonna pull them in as forcefully as you can. Okay, so imagine you want to hit something behind you and you're opening those arms and you're grabbing something and pulling it back in. Now, with the legs, here's what it looks like. You're squatting down, opening those arms, and then you're pulling them back in. So notice here, let me go on an angle. Notice here, as I go down, my fingers are nice and wide and open, and then I'm gonna come back up. So I'm driving through the legs at the same time that I'm pulling those arms in. So it should be equal effort in those arms and those legs coming back up. You want to tense almost every muscle in your body if you can. Are we ready? 2 minutes. You can do it. 3, 2, 1, and go. Yes, good. We're holding for just a split second at the bottom, and then we're driving back up, holding up here for a second or two, and then restarting again. So we don't want to be doing this. We don't want to be going so fast that we're barely holding anything, because the emphasis here is on that power, holding it, and then powerful back up, holding it. Good. That's it. How we doing? Make sure you're sticking your bottom back when you're doing that squat, going as low as you feel you're able to safely, and then coming back up. Really think about pushing the floor away from you as you stand back up. Oh, I just realized I forgot to give you seated modifications for this. Well, if you're sitting, you're still bringing those arms out. Keep going, guys. Keep going. You're going to bring that leg out in front and come back in. Bring that leg out in front and come back in. Same thing. Okay, keep it going. Keep it going. You've got less than a minute. You've got about 45 seconds left. Keep driving through those heels as you stand back up. Push the floor away. Well done. 30 seconds. Try to keep those elbows nice and high if you can. Well done. 10 seconds. You've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Shake out your arms, shake out your legs. We've got one more exercise, and then we're starting again from the beginning, and then you're done. So you're almost there. Okay, so now I want you to pretend you're holding a plank of wood in your hands, okay? So imagine a plank of wood, and you're holding them in your hands. Here's what you're gonna do. So let me face you first. I'll face you first. Okay, you're gonna bring one leg back behind you, and then you're gonna reach those arms up in front of you like so. So imagine you got that plank of wood in your hands, and I want you to imagine you wanna break this plank of wood with your knee, with your back knee, like this, and then back. So you're imagining you're breaking that plank of wood with that knee. Let me go sideways so you can see me. So you got one leg behind. Imagine that plank of wood in your hands, like so. And imagine you're driving that knee up in order to break that piece of wood, holding for just a second, and then bring that leg back again. So you're breaking that piece of wood and then bringing it back. So you're emphasizing on that imagery of breaking that piece of wood in order to help you with your motor output, okay? In order to help you get as much out of this exercise as possible. Now, as you're driving up, I want you to really dig that supporting leg. So this one, the one that's on the floor, this one, you want to really dig it into the floor to help keep you balanced as you drive that knee up. So we're going to do 1 minute one side,
And then we're gonna do 1 minute on the other side for a total of 2 minutes.
Okay, are we ready?
If you're sitting, same thing. Plank of wood, breaking it over your knee. Breaking it over your knee without getting shorter, right? We wanna keep our spine up nice and tall. Okay, let's try. Are we ready? Get into your position. Imagine that plank of wood in your hands. 3, 2, 1, and go. Good. So you're holding it for a second or two, and then reaching back again. So really think about that plank of wood in your hands that you're actually trying to break with the top of your knee. Good. Well done, everybody. Balancing for a second or two if you can. Really dig that heel down into the floor to help you balance. Imagine you're growing roots into the floor. So growing taller every time you're breaking this piece of wood. Well done. You can do it. You've got 15 seconds left on this side, and then we're going to switch legs. Try to stay balanced as you're driving that knee up to break that piece of imaginary wood in your hands. And other side, switch legs. And then we're going to start right away after you switch legs. So imagining that piece of wood in your hand that you're trying to get your knee to drive up with enough force to break it. The more you imagine that piece of wood, the better your motor output. So you really want to imagine doing that task of breaking that piece of wood. Well done. 30 seconds. Almost there. Keep breathing through it. If you need a little rest, that's okay. Have a rest. And then see if you can get right back into it if you can. Well done. 10 seconds. Nice and tall. Keep balanced. You've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, how are we doing? Do we hate this yet or are we loving it? Okay, we're gonna do those 5 exercises again from the beginning for our second and final round, and then we're gonna do a cool down, and that's it. So you're almost done. You're almost done. Okay, so first exercise was like this. Feet about hip width apart, maybe a little bit wider, depending on what you're comfortable with. Soft bend to the knees, arms bent by your side, fists facing upwards at the ceiling. From here, you're going to pivot on the spot to turn to the side, and meanwhile, you're pushing your front arm forward like so. So notice here my toes are pointing the direction I'm going, right? So my toes aren't like this, but I'm keeping them the direction I'm pointing. And then I'm gonna pull the arms back in and pivot back to the middle as forcefully as I can. Same thing, other side. You're pivoting, turning those toes to the direction you're going, pushing that arm out in front of you, spreading the fingers nice and wide, and then you're pulling it back to the middle. Remember, the emphasis here is on the sharpness of the movement. Now, if you're sitting a little bit different, sit forward in your chair, keep your toes facing forward, and all you're gonna do is brace your tummy muscles, and you're gonna turn on a diagonal. So I'm not going all the way to the side because that's a little bit too far if your hips are staying where they are. You're aiming for the diagonal and pulling back. Aiming for the diagonal and pulling back, nice and forceful, like you're actually pushing something and pulling something. Of course, if you like, you can pivot your hips so you can do a little bit of a lift with your hip to switch it to the side that you're facing if you like, but if that's too hard, corner is fine as well. But of course, I would like you to try doing it in standing. So if you're doing it standing, you can hold on to something maybe in front of you with one side, and then you pivot. You can just ignore the arms and just pivot, holding on back to the middle, other side. Pivot if you like, okay? Let's try 2 minutes. Are we ready? 3, 2, 1, and go. Aim for that sharpness of the movement, pivoting on the balls of your feet, and you're turning your chest every time. Really spread those fingers out as you're pushing, and really pull the hand back into those fists as you're turning back to the middle, aiming for that sharpness of the movement every time. How are we doing? Keep it going, chest up, nice and tall. Imagine you're pushing something away from you every time, and then you're pulling something toward you every time. Good, nice and sharp with your pivot. So imagine you're very robotic and the body is moving as a unit. Well done. Keep it going. You got a minute left. Hopefully we're still breathing. Make sure you're breathing as you're doing the exercise. We don't want to be holding our breath. Well done, everybody. 45 seconds. Keep pivoting, imagining the balls of your feet are stuck to the ground and you're using them as a pivot point. Well done. Make sure it's your front arm that's pushing and pulling when you turn. Well done. 20 seconds left. Keep breathing. Keep pushing through if you can. Think about the sharpness of the movement. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, well done. 4 exercises left and then cool down and you're done. You're almost there. Okay, legs nice and wide. We're going to do our windmill next. So arms nice and long. You're going to reach those fingertips down to one ankle, and then you're going to reach up and over as if you're drawing a big rainbow. Let me move back. So same thing, reaching up and over like you're drawing a big rainbow, one arm at a time. Noticing here that I'm pivoting my weight, shifting my weight from one leg to the other. If you're sitting, exactly the same thing. Legs nice and wide, reaching down, up and over. Same thing. So just because you're sitting does not mean we're going to do this. Right? You want to reach up and over every time, moving as big as you can. But of course, if you can do it in standing, even better, because I really want to challenge your balance. Okay, 2 minutes. Are we ready? 3, 2, 1, and go. Making sure that your legs are nice and wide. I don't want to see anybody's legs right under your hips. You want them to be wide. So that way, it really challenges you when you're trying to shift your weight from side to side, reaching those fingertips up as far as you can go, as far as possible. Good, well done, everybody. Keep going. Keep breathing, reach as far as you can. Imagine you're drawing that rainbow with your fingertips as wide as possible and drawing that rainbow as tall as possible. Well done, well done. Keep breathing through it as far as you can. 1 minute left. So remember, if what I'm doing is way too fast, don't worry, slow it down. As long as you're still reaching and transferring that weight. Good. If you need a rest, take a quick break and get right back into it if you can. But even better, if you can push through and keep up that stamina, great. You're almost there. Well done, everybody. You got 30 seconds left. Keep reaching, reaching. Transferring that weight. Almost there. 15 seconds. Almost done. Keep breathing through it. Reach, reach, reach. Keep those legs nice and open. Well done. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Whew, well done. Okay, 3 more exercises and then our cool down, and then we're done. Okay, we're gonna do our next one, which is our stepping or lunging figure of 8. So you probably remember that one. Let me go sideways so you can actually see. So you can either step figure of 8, or you can lunge figure of 8. Okay, I think we remember this one. Either stepping or lunging. Make sure we're switching legs each time. If you're sitting, of course, you can't lunge back because you're in a chair, but you're going to stick that leg out in front, drawing a big figure of 8, making sure if you are sticking your leg out, we're not like this. So see how my thigh is still on the chair? You want to stick that leg up. So I don't want to see the thigh on the chair. You want to lift it up while you're doing your figure of 8. Okay. But ideally, I want you to practice in standing. If you can't do the figure of 8, doesn't matter. Even practicing a backward step is really, really valuable, because a lot of the times with Parkinson's, we tend to fall backwards and we can't catch ourselves. So it's really important you practice this backward motion, okay? Okay, 2 minutes on the clock. You can either step or lunge, getting that back knee hovering off the floor. Or if you're sitting, lifting up that leg. Okay, are you ready? 3, 2, 1, and go. I'm gonna keep doing this sideways, so that way you can see what my legs are doing and what my arms are doing. Good, thinking about that body being an elevator, so you don't wanna be tipping forward like this. You wanna keep that chest up. Good, well done. Trying to keep that chest up, draw that figure of 8 as wide, as big as you can. The bigger you go with the figure of 8, the more of a twist in your upper body, which means the more challenging it is for you to try to stay balanced. Well done. Keep it going. If you can step further, step further. If you can lunge further, lunge further. Well done. You got a minute left. Try to step out of your comfort zone and see if you can step back even further. Move those arms even bigger. Keep that chest up even taller. Well done. You can do it. You can do it. I know I'm being demanding today. Well done, everybody. Keep going. Breathing through it. Remember, if this is too fast, don't worry. Slow it down. If you absolutely need a break, that's okay as well. No worries. Have a rest. And then see if you can get right back into it if you can. But this is your workout, so it's up to you what you do and how far you want to push yourself. Well done. You got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Shake out your arms. Well done. Okay, 2 exercises left, and then we are basically done. You're almost there. Our next one is our power squat, and you're going to stand with your feet hip width apart. And this is the one where you have our hands and fists on our chest with those elbows up nice and high. And then what we're going to do is we're going to squat down, opening those arms, opening your chest, and then you stand back up, pulling those arms in nice and forcefully. Now, if you're sitting, same thing. Unfortunately, you're doing those legs again because there's only so much you can do in sitting because you can't move your leg back, but we're lifting up that leg, opening the arms. Or if you like, try to lift your bottom off the chair and then sit back down. Lift your bottom off the chair and sit back down. Okay. Are we ready? 2 minutes. You can do it. 2 exercises left, including this one. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Good. As you squat down and you're opening those arms, see if you can squeeze your shoulder blades together so the arms go a little bit behind you, kind of like you're doing a chest stretch. And also you're trying to keep your chest up, so we don't want our chest to be facing the floor. We want it to be up. Well done. Check in with yourselves. Make sure our knees are not collapsing inward like that. You want them to have some space between them. Thinking about digging your legs into the ground in order to stand up. So like you're pushing the floor away from you every time you stand back up. Well done, everybody. Get nice and low if you can, holding each position for a couple of seconds and then coming back up. Well done. You've got a minute left here. 1 minute left, and then you got one more exercise of hard work, and that's it. You're almost there. Well done. Breathing through it. Make sure your shoulders are not up by your ears. Push the floor away every time you want to stand back up. Good. Well done. Almost there. Hopefully you're still breathing through it. You're not holding your breath. Almost there. You got 20 seconds left. Keep going. You can do it. Think about spreading those fingers out nice and wide every time you open those arms. And then pulling them back into fists every time you stand back up. Good. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Whew, okay, our final exercise. This is the one where we're imagining that we're holding a plank of wood in our hands. So you're facing forward. I'm just going sideways so you can see me. Imagine that plank of wood in your hands, and you're bringing one leg behind you. Whatever leg is behind is the driving leg. So you're imagining that piece of wood in your hands, and you want to break that piece of wood with your knee. So you're driving that knee up as forcefully as you can in order to break that piece of wood, balancing for a second or two, and then stepping back again. Same leg, up and back. So we're going to do 1 minute one side, and then 1 minute on the other side. Using that visualization of the wood in your hands will really help you with that force. Now, if you're sitting, same thing, driving. Noticing here that I'm still sitting up nice and tall as I'm doing this, so I'm not doing this. So I'm not just bringing my arms down over my hands, right? So I'm not bringing my arms down over my legs, sorry. I'm bringing my leg up to break that piece of wood. So emphasize on the knee driving up to break that piece of wood and not the other way around. So I'm not bringing my arms toward the leg, but you're bringing your leg toward the arm as well. Okay, are we ready? 1 minute each side, last exercise, and then you are done. You can do it. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Balance for a second or two, and then step back. Drive through that supporting leg, pushing down into the floor, growing roots in order to balance. Good, well done. Making sure your spine is nice and long, aiming for that back knee to drive up with enough force to try to break that piece of imaginary wood in your hands. Good, well done, everybody. You've got less than 30 seconds left on this side before we switch sides. Almost there, well done. Keep it going. Remember to balance for a second if you can before stepping back. 10 seconds left. Almost there. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and switch sides right away. Other side, driving that knee up in order to break that piece of wood. Making sure your back is up nice and tall, and it's not just the arms coming down to the knee, but really think about that plank of imaginary wood in your hand. You're holding up nice and high, and then driving that back knee up to break that piece of wood. Well done. 25 seconds left. Almost there. And then you're done. Well done, everybody. 15 seconds, last 15. See how much effort you can muster for the last little bit. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And drop those arms. We're going to do a nice gentle swing of the arms back in circles. Nice and gentle, swing those arms back. And then we're going to swing them forward in the other direction. Soft bend to the knees as your arms go down to the bottom. And then we're going to step those legs out nice and wide, reach those arms out. And we're going to tip over to the side, almost like you're trying to reach the ceiling and reach the floor. You should feel a nice stretch on the outside of your body for 3, 2, 1, and coming back to the middle. Same thing, reach those arms out to the side, tip over on the opposite side, stretching the side of the body, chest forward for 3, 2, 1, and coming back up. Bring those legs in. We're going to bring one leg out in front of us with that knee straight. Opposite arm is going to swing forward as you bend your chest toward that leg. Sideways, this is what it looks like. Bringing one leg forward, straightening that knee. Bring that chest toward the knee as you swing the opposite arm. You should feel a stretch at the back of the thigh. Two more. Last one. And we're going to bring our legs nice and wide again. You're going to bend one of your knees, bring your hands to that bent knee. Keep the other leg nice and straight. Keep that chest up, straight back, lean forward, and you should feel a stretch on the inner thigh. Holding for just a little bit. And then we're going to shift our weight to the other side. Still keeping your spine nice and long, bending forward to feel that stretch on the other thigh, and then standing back up. If you have something to hold on to, I want you to reach for it, and you're going to bring one leg behind you like so. So you're bending your front knee, and you're straightening the back knee, reaching that heel toward the floor in order to get a calf stretch. Holding it here for just a little bit. And then we're going to switch sides. Other side, reaching that heel back, bending that front knee, trying to get that back heel toward the floor. If you don't feel a stretch in the back of your calf, you might need to step back a little bit further. And come back up. Now, holding on to whatever you have, we're going to try to stretch the front of your thigh. 2 options. If you're pretty flexible and you can reach your heel, I'm going to get you to bring it up towards your bottom to stretch the front of your thigh. If you can't, don't worry. Hold on to something in front. Place a chair behind you. Stick that leg up on the chair behind you. Keep those knees together, and you should feel a stretch at the front of the thigh as well. Holding it for a little bit. Push your hips forward. And then we're going to switch sides. So same thing, you can either place your leg on something behind you. Make sure you're holding on for balance. Or if you are very flexible and you want to grab your heel and bring it to your bottom, that's fine as well. Pushing your hips forward in order to feel that stretch at the front of the thigh and the front of the hip. For a few more seconds here. And we're gonna relax down. We're going to now sweep our arms down and up overhead, opening that chest. One more. Sweeping the arms down, reaching up overhead, open the chest. And let your arms come down, and you are done. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for our April Challenger. I hope you found that challenging, but hopefully it was still fun as well. And I hope I didn't scare anybody off exercise. Oh, we got loads of comments here. Let me have a look. Oh, someone says, okay, balance is not so good when you step backwards. That's okay, no worries. I think for the majority of people, stepping backwards is pretty tough, so don't worry, that's why we're practicing. So it's really important to keep in mind that just because something feels hard doesn't mean we want to avoid it altogether, right? You just want to practice it in a safe way. So of course, if you feel like you're going to fall every time you step back, I don't want you to step back without holding on to something or without something there in case you need, right? But you definitely want to train that backward stepping motion. The ability for you to shift weight in multiple directions is what's going to keep you balanced on your feet and stop you from falling. So it's really important you do lots of weight shifting type activities in order to help with the balance and the agility. And then, okay, someone says, is it possible to get a short video showing all of these exercises? So the classes are recorded. So it will be on the YouTube channel about a week after the class. So this time next week, our class today should be on YouTube. If you're not sure what that is, let me know. You can send us an email, which is at the top of the chat box. And it says info@parkinson.bc.ca. Okay, someone says left ankle strained, puffs up in exercise. Is that okay? Okay, so if your ankle or anything else like knees and hips and things like that are getting swollen or they're feeling a little bit sore, you can still exercise, but I just be a little bit careful not to aggravate it. So of course, if anything, if it was your ankle, stomping is probably not so good because that's quite a lot of strain or force or shock going through your ankle. But sometimes people like to strap up their ankle just so it's a little bit more steady as you're doing the exercise. Or you might want to just be a little bit careful whenever you step on the left ankle, but you still want to build the strength in the joints, right? So if you have painful joints, you want to be careful, but you still want to build the muscles around the painful joint in order for that joint to move better in the future. Because the purpose of our muscles are not just to move our limbs, but it's also to shock absorb our activity. Right? So the stronger they are, the better they are at doing that. Okay, great. Oh, thank you guys for the comments. I think there's another question here. Okay, so I can see someone says that you feel challenged during it, but you're still doing it, which is great. Yeah, good thing no one can see you try. Don't worry. Honestly, when you're doing exercise, the sillier you feel you look, the better. Because that means you're moving really big and you're moving out of your comfort zone, which is the main point, right? Because if you're doing an exercise that doesn't challenge you at all, you may as well not do it. So it's great. Great job that you're keeping going, even though it feels challenging. Oh, someone says sciatica. Okay, no worries. I'm glad you were able to try your best. Yeah, and you're doing a lot of them sitting because of your knee. That's okay. Doing something is better than nothing as long as you challenge yourself. Great. Well, thank you, everybody. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I hope to see you all next week on Thursday. Same time, same place, same narrow living room. If you have questions, feel free to email me at info@parkinson.bc.ca. Remember, don't take yourself too seriously when you're doing exercise. Everybody looks silly. You're meant to, so don't worry. I will see you all next week, and I hope you all have a wonderful long weekend. Thanks, everybody. Bye.